This is Porter Heaps. I'd like to tell you how easy and how much fun it is to learn to play the Hammond organ. I've been traveling the country for years, and during these travels I've talked with thousands of Hammond organ owners, most of whom had never played a note of music before buying the organ. So I have first-hand information about this experience. Invariably, they express amazement over the fact that the Hammond is so easy to learn. I have no doubt that more people secretly yearn to play the organ than all other instruments combined. Why don't they do it then? Because they think it's hard to learn. I'll admit that it certainly looks like it would be difficult, but just the reverse is true. The organ is actually the easiest of all keyboard instruments to play, and I'll tell you why. One reason is because the organ does a lot of the work for you. Here's what I mean. On a violin, for example, you have to, 1, press your finger at precisely the correct spot in order to tune the string. 2, draw the bow carefully over the string, otherwise it'll scratch. And 3, jiggle your left hand to get that beautiful vibrato so characteristic of violin tone. 3 things to do. On the Hammond organ, all you do is press the key. The organ does the rest for you. Another thing that makes organ playing easy is the fact that the organ plays with a sustained tone, which sounds as long as you press the key. On all other instruments except the organ, the tones fade away. But you see, on the organ, once you've pressed a key, it'll keep right on sounding as long as you keep it depressed. As an example, let's look at the opening bars of the meditation from Thais. Well, let's say you're a beginner, so everything should be as simple as possible. You'll have difficulty doing more than one thing at a time, won't you? Fortunately, all you'll actually have to do is one thing at a time. You simply play the accompaniment chord, hold it, and then concentrate on the melody, like this. Sounds fine, doesn't it? If you were playing that on the piano, your accompaniment chord would fade away to nothing at the end of the first bar, and you'd have to do something else, wouldn't you? On the organ, you simply play the chord, then forget about it. Another thing that makes organ playing easy is the pedals. Most people who look at a Hammond organ say, look at that, 2 keyboards, drawbars, and of all things, pedals. I'll even have to play music with my feet. One hand must be bad enough, 2 even worse, but feet, that's too much. Now don't worry about this. Really, it makes organ playing easier. Any housewife will tell you it's easier to cook a big dinner on a 4-burner stove than on only 1 burner. So it is with the organ. It's these manuals, drawbars, and pedals that make it easy to play. Take the pedals, for instance. Now, to get a left-hand rhythm for a pop tune on the piano, you'd have to strike the bass with the left hand and then jump way up and hit the chord, like this. On the organ, in contrast, the foot easily strikes the bass note while the hand remains stationary to strike the chord, like this. So you see, it's actually easier. This makes the beginner sound pretty good right at the start without hours of tedious practice. I suppose the main reason people want to play the organ is because they can flavor their music with so many different fascinating tones. They're not stuck with one tone quality. I've already mentioned Hammond's drawbars. Well, that's where you get all the thousands of interesting tones. With the drawbars, you can play exactly the tone you like. If you've seen the Hammond movie, The Kind of Music You Want, you'll remember I showed Tommy Layton just how simple it is to play strings, brass, woodwinds, and diapason tones with the drawbars, and in addition, an amazing number of special effects. And the percussion-type tones, which you can get with Hammond's new touch response percussion control, have to be heard to be believed. Now I know, and all the thousands of people who play the Hammond organ know, how easy it is to learn to play the Hammond organ. We all know that you can learn to play in an incredibly short period. In fact, you can even play a simple piece of music at the end of your very first lesson. Drop in to your local Hammond organ dealer for a demonstration. He has a non-owner lesson plan whereby he'll make it possible for you to prove to yourself how easily you can learn in no time at all without buying an organ. Thousands of people right now are enjoying the wonderful experience of being able to create music themselves on the Hammond organ. And they, like you, were at one time certain the organ was too difficult for them, but they found out differently. Why don't you give it a try?